Reliving the 90s. When women wore their real hair and had real butts. I'll never forget it, man. You know, it was an exciting moment in the 90s. Exciting. Very exciting for me. You know what I mean? You know, I'm in my teens and growing into a young adult, and I'm experiencing, you know, beautiful black women. And back in those days, you have to understand, you know, things have changed now. But back in those days, everybody, society-wise, adored the Barbie look. You know, the chick with the big breast, wide hips, and flat butt. And when they looked at the curvaceous black woman, they said, oh, she's fat, and that's nasty. And society deemed her as ugly. But in the black community, we embraced the black female. Because back in the days, in the 90s, it was the most profound and beautifulest thing to do was respect the black woman. You know, rappers are dissing and disrespecting women all day, every day in 2019. But back in the days, the rappers sung about wanting to be with a female, wanting to get married, wanted to have babies, wanted to have a family. And it wasn't just one rapper, it was 2, 3 groups of rappers that sung about the black woman. You had EU doing the butt. Rick Shaky got a big old butt. Trina got a big old butt. We doing the butt. You had LL Cool J, I need a roundaway girl. Hell, LL Cool J used to just put out albums strictly for women. And it's crazy, man, that nowadays the rappers are just disrespecting women all day, every day, but that didn't happen in the 90s because we respected the female, and the female respected herself. I mean, y'all don't know the Queen Latifah that we knew back in the days. UNITY, who you calling a bitch? You gotta let them know you ain't a bitch or a hoe. And it's crazy, man. I'm just glad that I had the opportunity to be a part of that generation, man. I mean, man, you know, you women, boy, y'all used to kill me with the hairstyles when Salt and Pepper came out, and them came out with the, you know, the mushroom with the rat tail. I mean, man, and let's not talk about biker shorts. When a black female wore biker shorts, whoo, that was a big thing in the 90s. All of the females wore biker shorts. And boy, oh boy, oh my God, when they used to come to school with those biking pants on, so they used to wear biker shorts, right? But they were respectful. You know, they would wear biker shorts, but they would have long shirts, you know, to cover their derriere. But, you know, the song, if a song would play like Doing a Butt or Sir Mix-a-Lot, I like big butts and I cannot lie. They'll pull that shirt up and start dancing. They were like the first twerkers. The 90s, the women were twerking. I was about to say, pause. Whoa. The women were twerking, but they weren't doing it like now. Just like outlandish. They had some class, some taste to it. You know, but man, I'll never forget it, man. You know, I never forget Mitzi. When she first came to the neighborhood, because I used to live with my grandmother, right? You know, I ran away from home, and that's a different subject. But I never forget her, man. I remember she was riding with her moms, and they were going down the street real slow. And it was me and my mans, we were out there, you know, just chilling or whatever. And she turned around and looked at me, and I looked at her, and I was like, oh my God, this girl is so beautiful, right? So the next day, she came up to us and she introduced herself. She was like, yo, my name is Mitzi, I'm from Florida. And I'm looking at her and I'm like, God damn. You know, she had the mushroom hairstyle with the rat tail. She, I think she had some of it like a little dyed. It was like kind of like a velvet, like violet color, right? And she had a breast. She was very curvaceous. And I was like, man, I wish I could just grab her ass, You know what I'm saying? I'm looking at her, and she made my eyes feel comfortable. You know what I mean? I don't think y'all understand my language at this time, but I'm just trying to explain it to you. You know, she made my eyes feel comfortable. You know what I mean? I was just looking at her. I was like, yo, I got to have her, right? I never forget, what was her name? Joy. We went to high school together, man. She was a very curvaceous female, you know what I'm saying? Nice, perky breast, and her butt, her derriere was so beautiful, and she had hips to go with it. And I was like, oh man, I gotta have her. But you know, those type of girls, you couldn't get with them. You understand? They were like, now, you know, nowadays it's off the hook. It's gold diggers everywhere, but she was a gold digger. So she was one of the ones that used to date the drug dealers. And the drug dealers, before there was R. Kelly, there was R. Kelly, there were drug dealers and college students that used to pick up. Now, taking heed, these dudes, drug dealers and college students, would be in their 20s. And they were picking up females like Joy. That was in 11th grade. That was 17. So, try not to bash R. Kelly too much, because you know you girls loved older men, and y'all didn't want to mess with me because I was young and I guess corny. But you had your Joys, and you know they were drug dealers. You know they were gold diggers, and they would just only date drug dealers. You know, and back in the days that it was what car was it? And it wasn't even a sports car like that, but it looked like a sports car, the 300ZX. I think that's what it was, right? You see a line of them pulling up, waiting for the Joys, the Joy Kings of the world, right? So it's like, yo, I mean, I really wanted her, but I knew I couldn't have her. You know what I'm saying? I ain't had the money for it, but I just adored the black female, adored them. I never forget when Poetic Justice came out, and Janet Jackson wore those box braids, and all of the females started wearing them. And I met my first girlfriend. She had box braids, 5'4", nice perky breasts, hips, ass. I was like, oh my God. I never forget the first time she let me hit. Boy, oh boy. I ain't gonna lie, I'm not gonna lie. I instantly came. Now the second time I put in my work, but the first time it was like, God, I'm touching her butt and it's soft. It's soft. You understand? See, you millennials, y'all don't know anything about that, because like most of the women, even the women that have butts, they're getting bigger. They're trying to get injections in order to get bigger butts. But back in the days, it was just real. You know what I'm saying? Those girls, and this is the South. You know, it was in New York too. You know what I'm saying? That's another story. That's another story. The New York chicks fly. But I'm talking about these cornbread, macaroni, and cheese females down south. Whew. That was real. And when you grabbed that ass, it was soft and beautiful. And I'm hitting it from the back, and I'm like, oh. And she understood, because she knew what she had. She knew what she had. Man, it was just a beautiful time to be a black female and to be in the presence of a black female. Nothing like it. You see, let me tell y'all something. Let me school y'all on something. You know what I'm saying? I've been an ass man way before it was popular. You know, now you have white girls, Korean girls, Mexicans, all these females are getting ass injections. But I love ass. I love the buttocks. I've been loving that ever since day one. Like in the early 90s, late 80s. Straight up. I was a lip man way before y'all started getting your lips fat injected into your lips to look like those black females. I'll never forget this girl named Priscilla. May she rest in peace. Now, I'm talking about the past, so I'm not trying to throw dirt on her right now because I know she's dead. I'm talking about the past, right? Man, she used to come to school, and she used to they used to put I don't know what it was. It's like the lip gloss on their lips, and her lips were so beautiful and full. And I used to just daydream about like, how was her head game? You know what I'm saying? I know it was like magnificent. I knew it. It wasn't nothing like being in the presence of a black female in the 90s. Now, taking heat, I mean, it's a natural thing now. I'm not gonna lie. Back in the days, even though we had, real butts, and we wore it, even though the black female had real butts and they wore their real hair, they really weren't into the natural thing. So they would wear, they had perms. But I see that now, and I applaud you all. More females in, the early 2000s up to now are wearing their naturals. They're wearing the afros. They're wearing the dreads. And I respect that. You know what I'm saying? I respect that. I will say that that's a positive in this day and time because we didn't have that. But the whole thing about, the weave, it was unheard of. I mean, women were getting picked on. Women were getting picked off the rip. Like, yo, you need to go home and grow your own hair because you wearing a weave. It wasn't too many women wearing weaves. They were wearing their real hair. They didn't have no lace fronts. They had their sides, their edges. It was just a beautiful day and time. And a lot of black women didn't wear makeup. Now I go around, I'm over in public, and I know at least 9 times out of 10, the average black woman is wearing pounds of makeup, looking like a clown. Neck don't match the face. But man, it was just an honor. It was just an honor to be in the 90s, to see the realness. And I respect it, And we had a problem with light skin, dark skin. We had the skin complexion war going on back in those days. But there wasn't a lot of people, black people that is, in the black community dating outside their race. That was taboo. That was unheard of. It just really was. And it's no disrespect towards people that decide to date out of their race, but in the 90s, that was kind of unheard of. This is the reason why they came out with the movie. Spike Lee came out with Jungle Fever. It was just taboo back then to see a white woman with a black man or a black man with a white woman. We really loved our own. And that's what we did. We adored the black woman because back in those days, she was our queen. And we rapped about her. And we definitely sung songs. And the black women, whew, I had my selection. You know what I'm saying? Back in the days, I know y'all probably don't know nothing about that, but we had a CD. I had a 6 CD disc changer, right? And I used to put in Troop, Tony Braxton, Mary J. Blige, Jodeci, who else? And we had the old heads too, Keith Sweat, Make It Last Forever and Ever. Barry White, telling me this, telling me that. Man, reliving the 90s.